Okay, question number 9. We have a picture of a cone. So, when you see a three-dimensional picture of an object, it's a pretty safe bet they're going to ask you to find the volume one way or another. This particular question explains that these are paper cups in an office. It gives you the following dimensions, and then the text says to the nearest tenth of a cubic inch. So right away, if we're talking cubic inch or cubic anything, we know we're being asked to find the volume. It says find the volume. So using our math formula sheet, we go to cone. Be careful not to use the surface area formula. They're kind of scrunched together. But as you look that up carefully, you will see that it says volume equals 1/3 times pi times r squared times height. I'm going to do this two different ways. Unlike question number 7, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse the process. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some rounding. I'm going to compare it to the answers to see what I can do. So let's use this formula. We've got 1/3 times pi, and you guessed it, I'm not going to use 3.14 right now. I'm just going to use 3. I like to do that here because these are going to immediately cancel each other out and go away. So all I'm looking at is r squared times height. And in fact, let's take a look at the radius here. The diameter is 2 3/4. As you can see, that's pretty close to 3. So for right now, I'm just going to say the diameter is 3. I'm going to chop that in half to get my radius. So I chop that in half and I get 1.5. If you need to do that in the calculator, that's fine. 3 divided by 2 equals. I'm going to square that because I need to do my exponents first. And then I'm going to multiply times the height, which in this case is just 4. So I take my calculator. That gives me 2.25. I like to cross all of that off. I'm going to bring down the times 4. I'm going to enter that straight into my calculator. I get an answer of 9. Let's take a look at the multiple choice answers on this. I'll pause for a moment while I write those down. Okay, the multiple choice answers are as follows. A, 2.5. B, 7.9. C, 23.7. D, 31.7. As you can see, the only answer even close to 9 is 7.9. So at this point in time, technically speaking, I'm absolutely done. That only took a minute or two. Let's take a look at how to get the exact answer. Of course, this is more time consuming. Same process, it's just more time consuming. Okay, so using the exact numbers, here's what we have. 1/3 times 3.14 times half of 2 3/4. What I did with the calculator is I entered 2.75 divided by 2, just used a decimal. I also used the calculator to take 2 3/4 and divide it by 2. You can enter a fraction or a mixed number into the calculator. In fact, the instructions are on the back side of the calculator to tell you exactly how to do that. In that case, I got 1 3/8. Either way, we take that number and we square it and we multiply times 4. When I was done entering all of this information, the calculator gave me an exact answer of 7.8362625. We will never, ever have to be that precise in the world of GED mathematics. They don't want you to do this. What they did, as you can see, is they rounded to the nearest tenth. So they took that 3, and actually they bumped it down. So at this point in time, The exact answer, we'll pause just for a moment. But what I did is I recalculated this, and when I entered pi instead of 3.14, I actually used the full value of pi in the calculator. I think it goes out to about 9 decimal places, and I ended up with 7.84. Still couldn't get that to bump up to a 5. So we could do a few different calculations and come up with a few different numbers, but at the end of the day, we get either 7.83 or 7.84 or 7.85. That rounds to 7.9. The only answer close to this is obviously choice B. I don't recommend this in this situation. They don't want you to do this. They want you to recognize when you can simplify it and when you can use common sense and test taking strategies as well. So I definitely recommend the first method that we did, where we rounded that to 3. We used 3 instead of 3.14. We got a final answer of 9. Again, you can see the only answer close to that is choice B. So we know that's the correct solution to number 9.